I just wanted to thank you for everything you've done for me. I mean, if it hadn't been for you, I might have been as sick as B.
Oh, I didn't do much.
Yes, you did. And not only did you look after me, you gave me that medicine. I might have died without that.
I wouldn't let that happen. You're my friend.
Yeah, I know that. And I care about you, too. I care about you more than just a friend. You know that, don't you?
You bitch! Oh, you dirty, filthy dyke! I thought you were my friend. You make me sick, you sick bitch!
What's going on?
He kissed me.
All right, come on, outside.
Sick.
Well, did you find what you were looking for?
I found quite a lot of things. Most of them are harmless enough, but a few, well, I've sent the whole lot off to be analyzed. There are some weeds and herbs that can produce pretty unpleasant results, you know.
Well, we'll keep a close watch on her in the future and make sure she doesn't give the women anything at all.
You don't seem to understand. I think she already has, without their knowledge.
Yes, of course, but without their knowledge?
She's been set on trying to prove that she can cure with her mixtures. If I'm right, she thought she'd found the way. She knew exactly how to cure them because she made them sick in the first place. She deliberately poisoned them.
To deliberately make people ill just to prove a point. Would she go that far?
It's the one explanation that fits all the facts. I'll do some further tests on the patients, this time looking for a mechanical irritant rather than a viral or bacterial cause of the illness.
Well, much as the idea horrifies me, I hope you're right. At least you'll know how to deal with it.
Well, if the proper purgative works as I expect, we should be able to lift the quarantine restrictions very shortly.
Oh, that will be a great relief. I'll speak to Randall immediately. If we can get her to make an admission, then we won't have to wait for the results of your tests.
I'd like to be present when you speak to her, if I may.
Well, I think you should be. Oh, Mr. Fletcher, I was just about to phone you.
There's been a bit of trouble, Mrs. Davidson.
What now?
Baxter attacked Bryant.
Is Bryant all right?
Yes, I think so.
I'm getting thoroughly sick of Baxter's violence.
Yes, well, she was the one that was making accusations. Apparently, Bryant made a pass at her.
Well, I'll look into it later. Put Baxter in solitary until I have time to see her.
Right.
Oh, and then would you bring Randall here, please? We have some rather serious business to discuss with that lady.
Is she getting any better, Lizzie?
Don't worry about me. Getting knickers in a knot, taking more than this to get me down.
Why don't you try some of Evie's stuff, love? It's done wonders for the others.
No way. I'll wait until whatever the doctor gave me works.
You'll be waiting a long time. They don't even know what's wrong, let alone how to treat it.
Get lost.
Don't be like that, Bee. She can help.
I'm not interested, Lizzie.
But isn't anything worth a try, seeing as how you're not getting better now?
Oh, God, don't make me fight you when I'm feeling like this. Look, she's putting one over you. She's in this whole situation to make you take notice of her.
I'm not trying to win any support in here. It's the medical authorities I want to take notice, and before this is over, they'll be begging for my help.
Don't hold your breath waiting for me.
Suit yourself.
Ah, there you are, Randall. The governor wants to see you.
There you are, you see. I knew before long they'd realize they need me.
Come on, Randall.
Send off everything of Evelyn Randall's for immediate analysis, and then begin further preparations for tests on the patients. Yes. Right, thank you, sister.
Randall, Mrs. Davidson.
Bring her in, please, Mr. Fletcher, and I would like you to stay, please. Randall, despite my warnings, I believe you have been treating some of the women with that potion you concocted.
Yes, that's right, and they have recovered, haven't they?
Well, as even Dr. Granger doesn't know what the actual disease is, I am a little curious as to why you should know how to treat it.
Oh, well, I could see the effects of the illness and treat that accordingly. You see, I don't need to know the medical name for it, not like some people. And I have proved that I can cure these women. Now, if you let me treat all of them, I'll have them on their feet in no time.
Yes, I'm sure you could.
There you are, you see. I knew when you were desperate enough, you'd have to admit I was right.
You might be able to cure these women because you're the one who made them ill in the first place. You deliberately poisoned them, created this sickness with a toxin of some sort.
Oh, don't be ridiculous.
Then you deny this accusation?
Well, of course I do. He's only saying that because he doesn't want to admit that my treatment is more effective than his.
Analysis of all your herbs is being carried out, Randall. If anything toxic is found among them, then I warn you, you are in very serious trouble.
There's nothing in my herbs that could possibly harm anyone. It could only be a benefit to people if some weren't too narrow-minded to allow me to use them.
That's enough, Randall. Wait outside.
Well, I wouldn't like to live with your consciences if any of these women die.
Take her back to her cell, please, Mr. Fletcher. I'll speak to Baxter in a moment.
Well, Bryant wants to talk to you, too, about the incident.
Yes, I'll get around to her.
She's lying. I still think she caused it all.
Well, at the moment, I'm more concerned with having this stopped before someone does die.
Mrs. Davidson, to see you, Baxter.
Well, Baxter, what's all this about?
Judy, she's a filthy bloody dyke. Started boring me. I wasn't going to have that.
We know about Bryant, but it doesn't sound like her to force herself upon you.
No, it doesn't. You must have given her some encouragement.
Knowing she was a lesbian, surely all you had to do was make it quite clear you were not interested.
How did I know she was a filthy bloody dyke?
She makes no secret of it. I can't see how you wouldn't have known by now.
Well, I bloody didn't.
You watch your language.
I find your whole story very hard to believe, Baxter. You have a record of unprovoked violence, and it just sounds like another incident of it to me. If you do not radically change your ways, I warn you, you will be spending most of your time in here.
Why don't you bloody believe me? Will you bloody believe me?
It was all a misunderstanding. I don't want to see Georgie get in trouble over me.
You did make some sort of overtures to her then?
Yeah, I did. But look, I told her about myself. She didn't even seem to mind. And I thought well, I was sure she felt the same way.
She insists she had no idea.
Well, I told her. Mrs. Davidson, I'd never force myself on anyone. I mean, if they weren't interested, I wouldn't bother, you know? Maybe she just didn't understand what I was saying.
Well, from the terms she was using a while ago, she understands well enough.
Yeah, well, she does now. Mrs. Davidson, I don't want to see her get into trouble because of some mix-up.
She is being punished for her continued violence. Ever since she arrived here, she's faced every problem by lashing out. She has to learn that this is not the way.
But it was my fault.
I am not condoning your actions, Bryant. And because of what you have told me, Baxter will not be put on a charge. But for the time being, she'll have to remain in solitary. Hopefully, she will realize herself that she has to change her attitude.
Yes, I've got all that. Oh, and thanks for letting me know so quickly. All right, bye. The results of the tests that were made on Officer Barfield and some of the women, they managed to isolate the irritant.
Then you know what caused it.
That's right. Something that was administered orally. Pollen from the pandanus palm. Pandanus candelabrum.
Then it has to be Randall.
Oh, it's not quite that clear-cut. You see, there was no such pollen amongst the herbs that we confiscated.
Well, she obviously got rid of what was left before we searched the cell.
Yes, but how did she get it in the first place? There's no such thing in or around the prison. Still, the main thing, however, was managed to establish that no contagious or infectious disease is involved.
Then quarantine can be lifted immediately.
Yes.
I'll be relieved to get back to normal. But we've still got to find out how the stuff got in here in the first place.
Yes, I'll be interested to get to the bottom of that myself.
What, can they lay off making that wooden box for me, Doc?
Yes, I'm sure they can. Should be your old self in a couple of days.
That I've got to look forward to. Listen, Doc, I didn't quite understand when you explained to me about this stuff. Some sort of pollen, you said. Would we have to have eaten it?
Yes, we've been taken orally in some form, perhaps sprinkled on food or in drink.
Well, in that case, it would have to have been done on purpose, wouldn't it?
As far as I can see.
Well, then we know who's to blame, don't we?
Well, I'm fairly sure. But the problem is, how did she get her hands on the stuff? There's none within miles of this place. Unless we can prove she got a hold of the pollen in some way, I'm afraid she's going to get away with it.
Oh, I wouldn't say that.
How's Smith?
Oh, much better.
Well enough to be moved?
Yes, yes, I'd say so.
Right. Well, the old arrangements are back in force. Smith, you can go back to your cell with Burns and Birdsworth. Bryant, you got your cell back.
Suits me. Thanks for the use of the cell, Jude. The change is as good as a holiday.
Yeah, well, it's a change of scenery that matters, huh?
I'm glad you're better, love.
Think so. Be a long time before I forget what we've all been through, though. And the bitch who caused it.
There is no doubt that this pollen caused the illness.
Yes, I thought it must be something like that.
You know about this pollen, then?
Oh, yes, yes. Any naturopath or herbalist would. Is the traditional poison of many of the Aboriginal tribes.
If you had some idea what had caused this illness, why did you not say so?
Well, I mean, who would have taken any notice of me? And I couldn't be sure that it was that. After all, there aren't any pandanus palms around here, are there?
No, that does present a problem. But someone administered the poison to the women, and you were the obvious choice.
You're mistaken, Mrs. Davidson. I wouldn't do any such thing.
Not even if it meant it proved your point, that you can cure. I know that you feel you have been unjustly imprisoned. I suggest that you created this disease in order to force the authorities to admit that you have the ability of a natural healer.
You can't blame me for this. You have no proof.
No, we haven't. Not as yet. But if we do find that proof, I assure you, you will be charged. And the charge will be administering a poisonous, noxious, or destructive thing with intent to harm, discomfort, or annoy. It carries a maximum penalty of 2 years. The matter will be thoroughly investigated, I can assure you.
But I didn't do it.
Then the matter need not concern you, need it?
Do you reckon you're well enough to be playing cards, Bea?
Oh, yeah. I've had spots in front of my eyes for weeks, and might as well have them on the cards.
We were real worried about you, Bea.
Yeah, I know you will, love. It takes more than that to get a tough old bird like me down.
Hey, Margot, how about taking a bet for something tomorrow? I saw something in the paper I fancied.
No way. I've given all that up. Can't risk it. I'm getting out in a couple of days.
Oh, well, come on, I feel lucky.
Forget it. Why don't you get someone else to make a book?
Why bother? I'll wait until you come back.
Don't hold your bloody breath. I'm not coming back.
We all say that.
I mean it. I'm going straight. Wayne got out of Pentridge a few months back and he's got a job and a house for us.
Don't tell me you're going to get married at last.
Well, don't know about that, but we're going to settle down and make a real go of it.
Well, I hope you do, Margot, but you know, you got to be real careful because you just put 1 foot wrong and they slam you straight back in here.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to put a foot wrong, am I? I tell you, I'm sick to bloody death of this joint.
We all? Well, maybe you can make it. At least you've got someone waiting for you on the outside, and that's the main thing.
Oh, Bea, you look so much better. For a while there, I thought you was a goner. Can I join in the game?
No, you can't. I want to have a word with you. Last time you were out visiting Sid, you brought stuff back in for Evelyn, didn't you?
Yeah? So what?
What exactly did you bring in?
I don't know. Don't know anything about that sort of thing. She gave me a list. Sid got most of the stuff she wanted. What are you on about, Bea?
What exactly did Evelyn have? I've got to know.
Well, you're not still against her, are you? I mean, she made some of the women better.
Will you just listen to me for a minute? Amongst the stuff you brought in, was there any pollen from a palm tree?
Pollen? Yeah, there was, from a palm tree with a funny name. She reckoned it was a good tonic.
Good tonic? It's bloody poison, and that's what makes us all sick. And she gave it to us.
Oh, she wouldn't do that. Would she?
Of course she would. She thought if she could make us all sick and then cure us, she could prove she shouldn't be in here.
But that's a terrible thing to do. Did the screws know?
No, but the doctor does. Nothing he can do about it, though, because he can't prove Evelyn brought the pollen in.
Well, are you going to tell him that Lizzie brought the stuff in for her?
No. I'm going to deal with her myself.
Excuse me?
Yes.
I want to see Margot Gaffney.
Not at the moment, I'm afraid. If you come back tomorrow at the normal visiting hours, you can see her then.
But that's the problem, you see. I work during the week and most of the weekends, and I just don't get the chance to get up during normal hours. She's getting out soon, and we got a lot of things to work out.
Are you a relative?
No, I'm, well, we're sort of engaged. Look, I know it's up to the governor. Do you reckon I could have a word with her?
You already have. I am the governor, Mrs. Davidson.
Oh. Oh, how do you do, Mrs. Davidson? I'm Wayne Bradshaw. Me and Margot, we've been going together for a long time now, and I just wanted to make sure things were perfect for her when she came out. I know it's irregular, but please, if I could see her just for a few minutes.
I'm sure that could be arranged. Julie, would you ask Mr. Fletcher... Oh, Mr. Fletcher, this gentleman has come to see Gaffney. I've given my permission for a brief visit.
Did I know you from someplace?
Yeah, Mr. Fletcher. From Pentridge.
Ah, yes, that's right. Bradshaw, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Always rather cocky and sure of yourself, weren't you, Bradshaw?
No, I've changed, Mr. Fletcher. I'm going straight now.
Yeah, I've heard that song before.
No, really, me and Margot, we're going to make a go of it this time. Keep our noses clean.
Sit down over there. Mrs. Davidson?
Yes.
He's an ex-con. You still want him to see Gaffney?
Well, he's obviously heard a facto. He seems genuine enough. I see no point in stopping the visit.
How do you know that's really true?
Well, Bea wouldn't lie to us.
Yeah, but she might get it wrong, mightn't she? I mean, she's always been anti-Evelyn, so has the doctor.
The doctor could be lying, but Bea wouldn't.
I think Judy might be right, Lizzie. Maybe Bea didn't get it quite straight.
All right, girls, what's all this about?
We was just talking, Bea.
Just having a bit of a natter.
About this business with Evelyn. You don't believe me, do you?
Of course we believe you. We just think the doctor could be leading you up the garden path a bit.
Oh?
Yeah, well, he's always had it in for Evelyn. You can't trust anything he says.
Well, let's see if we can get it straight from the horse's mouth. And what did the governor want?
Oh, nonsense. Do you know they had the cheek to accuse me of starting this disease by poisoning everyone just so I could cure them and prove the worth of herbal medicine? Isn't that ridiculous?
I don't know. That is the way it was, isn't it?
Oh, don't tell me you believe that rubbish as well.
What I don't understand is how you can cure people when you don't even know what's wrong with them.
Well, I could see the symptoms. That was all I needed to know. I am good in my business. I'm one of the best.
And I thought your business was curing people, not making them crook. You put that pollen in our food, didn't you?
Pollen? What pollen?
The same pollen that Lizzie brought in for you, the pollen from the palm tree.
No, of course it wasn't.
That's what you had on the list.
Well, I didn't use it to poison anyone.
And you won't mind me telling the screws about Lizzie bringing it in, will you?
Oh, they'd never believe me then.
No, I don't suppose they would, any more than I do. But then a full-scale inquiry could only prove you're innocent.
No, I don't want to go through all that.
Why not? Wouldn't it be best to have all doubt removed? That is, unless you've got something to hide.
I think I'll tell Davo now.
No, you mustn't.
Well, then maybe you just better tell us the truth.
Well, I did sprinkle the pollen on some of the food.
Oh.
You bitch, you poisoned us.
It was my only chance to prove myself. I knew I could cure you all again.
You mean you made everybody sick and nearly died just to prove that?
You rotten mongrel.
Oh, now, hang on, girls, hang on a
She's
minute.
got to pay for what she did.
Oh, and she will. But it's going to be long and slow, just like that sickness. And it's going to be a lesson you're never going to forget, Evelyn.
Randall, what's the matter with you?
They're going to do something terrible to me.
Who is?
B. Smith and the other women. You've got to help me. You've got to give me protection.
Where are they now?
Oh, in the recreation room.
All right, come with me.
No, I'm not going back there.
Oh, don't be ridiculous, Randall. I'm with you now. No one's going to hurt you. Come on.
Well, I reckon we ought to show her that she can't get away with it.
Go.
All right, why have you been threatening Randall? Smith, what's going on?
Just the usual boring recreations, Mr. Fletcher. Now, if you send us in half a dozen blokes, we'd show you some real indoor sports.
Why have you been threatening Randall?
When?
Just now. Isn't that right, Randall?
I didn't hear anyone threaten her. Did you, girls?
No.
I didn't. You must have got the wrong impression, Evelyn. Mind you, I did tell her what I thought of her herbal remedies. But that's all.
Well, Randall,
They did threaten me.
Why? Why would we threaten you? What have you done?
It's a fair enough question, Randall. Why would they threaten you?
Well, they've got this stupid idea I poisoned them.
Poisoned us? Did you hear that, girls? Where on earth did you get an idea like that, Evelyn?
Yeah, I'm the only one who ever gets accused of poisoning around here, especially if I'm on kitchen duty.
Yeah, you must have misunderstood or something, Evelyn.
It's just all a silly mix-up.
Perhaps it's just your guilty conscience, Randall. Anyway, you'll be right from now on. There'll be an officer here if you need it for anything. Gaffney, you got a visitor.
Yeah? At this time?
Ooh.
Yes, you can thank Mrs. Davidson for that.
I will when I see her.
I think I'm about to play my first trump, girls. Hey, Evelyn, would you like to join us for a game of cards?
No, I think I'll just read this, thank you.
I tried being nice, didn't I? I don't know why you bother. We are all going to be very nice to Evelyn.
Hello, love.
No touching, you know the rules.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Mr. Fletcher.
Jesus, it's great to see you, Wayne.
Yeah, well, you'll be seeing a lot more of me from now on. Oh, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I reckon I do.
Good. You're not exactly a sight for sore eyes at the moment.
Yeah, well, there's not much to pretty yourself up for in here, you know. But I'll make sure I look real good when I get out.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to it. Job's going real well. Things will be great for us, Mark.
What's the house like?
Well, it's nothing flash, but you'll like it.
A real little love nest, eh?
We're going to do it right this time. Like I told Mr. Fletcher here, we're both going straight.
Of course we are. This time it's going to be real good. I'm never coming back to this dump again.
Yeah, well, make sure you don't. And don't get into any trouble before you get out. I don't want nothing mucking things up now.
Don't worry, love. I'll be real good.
Won't be long now.
What do you hope to achieve by this? Well, you're the one who'll suffer for it. You haven't even got a bed to sleep on now.
Hey! Wait a minute!
What is it now?
Well, the governor said about me ending up here all the time. You can't keep me in here, can you? You've got to let me out sometime.
Yes, you'll be let out, but not until you smarten up your ideas. If you go round thumping someone every time something goes wrong, then you'll just be sent back here. And if you don't want that, and I'm sure you don't, then I suggest you try changing your attitude.
Give it down what they do to me.
You're not doing anything by this. You're just making things more difficult for yourself.
I'll rack off, will you? Just leave me alone.
Certainly.
He reckons it's a real nice place. Probably needs a woman's touch by now after Wayne's been batching for a while.
Yeah, well, he's probably got a couple of his old girlfriends to come in and clean up for him, huh?
Like hell he has. Wayne's been behaving himself. He's waiting for me.
That's what they all say.
I know he has. Wayne's always been crazy about me.
He must be crazy.
I scrub up okay. Just haven't bothered in here, that's all.
You can say that again.
Have you got a real pretty dress to wear when you go out?
Yeah, one that's real nice. Hey, Bea, would you help me do something with my hair?
Yeah, I could shave it off.
Come on. I want to look nice for Wayne.
You could do her hair for her, Bea. Put up one of them bouffant styles like the governor's.
Don't want to look stupid.
Maybe I should come over your face then.
Thought you were my friends.
Of course we are. Don't tease her, Bea.
Yeah, okay, love. I'll do your hair for you. I'll also give you a word of advice. Keep clear of Evelyn, because things are going to start happening to her she's not going to like one little bit.
She's got it coming to her.
Yeah, I'll say.
Oh, I hope she has a peaceful night. Sweet dreams, Evelyn.
Is anyone there? Mr. Fletcher! Oh, Mr. Fletcher!
What is it now, Randall?
There's someone in my cell. She tried to strangle me.
Who did?
Oh, I don't know the right was out, but she grabbed me by the throat.
Let's have a look, shall we? I thought you said the lights were out.
Well, they were.
Well, if there was anyone here, they must have got away pretty quickly.
Well, there was someone here. I tell you, she tried to strangle me.
What do you think you're playing at, Randall? You think that you can get out of here by pretending to be victimized, eh? Well, it won't work.
But you've got to get me out of here, Mrs. Davidson. Those women will kill me.
And how do you imagine I could get you out of here?
Well, you could have me transferred to another prison, couldn't you?
Yes, that is possible, but I would need a very good reason.
Well, you've got a good reason. The women are threatening me.
I have read Mr. Fletcher's report, and he sees no evidence of victimization.
It's my opinion that you invented the whole thing.
No, that's not true.
Look, I am not prepared to have you transferred at the moment. I suggest that you remain quiet and do not continually draw attention to yourself. Then no one will bother you.
Look, Mrs. Davidson, you've got to listen to me. Somebody tried to strangle...
Come in. Mr. Goodwin is here, Mrs. Davidson.
Thank you, Miss Bennett. Would you bring him in, please? And then bring Hamilton here.
Right. Mr. Goodwin, could you come in, please?
Morning.
Good morning, Mr. Goodwin. Would you take Randall back to her cell, please?
No, you've got to listen to me.
That is enough, Randall.
Come on, Randall.
Why won't anyone believe me?
Another problem?
Yes, I'm afraid she is. We believe she is the one who caused the epidemic which swept through H Block.
Caused it? You mean deliberately?
I'm afraid so.
How on earth could she possibly have done that?
It's a very long story.
Thank heavens things are back to normal again. Morning, Mr. Fletcher.
Morning. There's some roster amendments there for you, Julie. Could you type them up for me, please?
Business as usual, is it?
That's right.
Tell me, how's Georgie been behaving herself, all right?
No, she hasn't. In fact, she's back in solitary.
Oh, no. What's she been doing now?
She attacked Bryant.
Can I talk to her?
No, you can't. Solitary's solitary, and that means no visitors. You ought to know that.
But how's anyone going to help her if she's kept locked away all the time?
She's got to learn that she can't get away with violence.
I'm not asking that she not be punished. All I'm asking is for the chance to talk to her. I mean, surely you've got some interest in seeing these women reformed.
What do you mean, some interest? Of course I want to see them reformed. I just don't believe in pandering to them.
Please, Jim, just give me the chance. For the girl's sake.
All right, see Officer Knox up in solitary. But you've got 10 minutes, no more.
Thanks, Jim. You've got a heart of gold.
Hamilton simply panicked. She has an overwhelming fear of illness, and the thought of catching the disease was just too much for her.
Do you think that provoked her escape attempt?
Oh, yes, I'm sure of it. She was desperate. As I explained to you, she's not really a criminal.
Sounds a very foolish young woman, getting herself convicted like that for the sake of a story.
Yes, I'm sure she's learned her lesson, though.
Hamilton is outside, Mrs. Davidson.
Bring her in, please.
Inside.
Hamilton, this is our visiting justice, Mr. Goodwin.
I see you're a journalist.
Yes.
I understand you came in here deliberately. I was just commenting to Mrs. Davidson what a foolish thing that was to do.
I know that, Niles.
Miss Hamilton, you've been charged with attempting to escape. What have you to say?
It was a very stupid thing to do. But I was scared.
Huh? And why was that?
Because we were under quarantine and, well, there were so many sick people in here. So many sick women, and the medical staff didn't seem to know what to do about it, and I just couldn't stand it anymore.
What about the possibility of your being a carrier of the disease? If you had escaped, you could have infected countless other people.
That didn't even occur to me. I just knew I had to get out of here, and it was sheer panic that made me do it.
As it turns out, you had no reason for panic. The disease was not a natural one. But of course you had no way of knowing that.
Look, I swear when I get out of here, I'm never coming back.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, Miss Hamilton. Taking all the circumstances into consideration, I've decided to dismiss the charge.
Thank you.
In future, when you're after a story, I hope and trust you'll be more sensible in how you go about it.
I will, and don't worry.
All right, that's all, Miss Hamilton.
Take her back to her cell, please, Miss Bennett.
I don't think there's any doubt at all that she's learned her lesson.
I can't help wondering what sort of a story she'll write about Wentworth.
Yes. I wouldn't expect it to be too flattering.
I suppose not.
It seems incredible to me. Someone actually makes an escape attempt and isn't even punished for it.
I was in solitary long enough.
Yes, and you'd be there for another month if it was up to me. I thought Mr. Goodwin had more sense than to just dismiss a charge like that.
Look, I am getting out of here and I am never coming back. What would be the sense in keeping me here? Look, I am not like the other women. I am not a criminal.
You are just like the others, Hamilton. And I wouldn't be at all surprised to see you back here before too long.
You're joking. When I get out of here, I'm going to be a model citizen.
Oh, we'll see.
So what did the VJ mean that it wasn't a natural disease?
He meant it was man-made.
What, were we poisoned in some way?
Yes, you could call it that.
Was there an accident with the food?
Oh, it was no accident. The person who did it knew exactly what she was doing. Just takes a certain knowledge of herbs and that sort of thing.
Evelyn Randall. Did she poison us?
I didn't mention any names.
No, but that's who you meant, isn't it? That bitch, she could have killed us all.
Some people are completely devoid of any moral sense.
What's being done about it?
As you've already seen today, some people can get away with quite a lot in here. More's the pity. You're in here with Bryant. And remember, put a foot wrong and you won't get off so lightly. So if you want to get out of here in a couple of days, you'd better learn to behave yourself.
Don't worry, Miss Bennett. You can count on me.
I still think you're just like the rest of them, Hamilton.
Hello, Georgie? I'll be right. How are things going? I'm sorry to see you stuck in here again.
Not your fault.
You don't want to have to spend all your time in here, do you?
Of course not. I hate being cooped up.
Well, you're going to have to learn to behave yourself a bit now, aren't you?
Yeah. Can't win, can I?
No, but you can by letting people help you.
Why do you want to help me?
Because you're someone worth helping. You've got potential.
Got what?
You can make something of yourself. Now, I'm sure of that.
Yeah, like what?
Well, that's what we're going to have to take the time to find out. Why don't you come to my classes and see what you can learn? Why not?
I never done no good at school. I hated it. Why never went half the time?
You used to take sickies, did you?
Yeah. I got fed up with them teachers saying I was stupid and belt me around the ears. They kept saying I wasn't listening, but half the time I didn't know they was talking to me. Stupid bloody bitches.
Let me get this straight, Georgie. You got into trouble a lot for not paying attention. Is that right?
Yeah, I can give it stuff.
Good morning.
Dr. Granger.
Morning.
They said you were coming in.
Yes, but I won't be staying too long. Just called back to collect some equipment we left behind. To tell the truth, I won't be sorry to see the back of this place.
I can understand that. Tell me, Doctor, were you in general practice before specializing in tropical medicine?
Yes, I had a country practice for a while. Why? After a free consultation?
No. It's not for me. Could you do me a favor?
Yeah, it depends what it is.
Could you examine one of the women here, Georgie Baxter?
Why?
I've got a feeling that she may be deaf.
Here's my hearing. What for? I can hear all right.
Well, we'd just like to make sure. Have you ever suffered from a severe earache or ear infection at all?
Nah, I've always been real healthy. Even when everyone was sick in here, I was okay.
So you don't think you're deaf at all?
What?
So you don't think you're deaf at all?
Nah, of course not.
Georgie?
I mean, there's no point in you
Georgie?
mucking around the ears.
I'd say you're probably right.
Georgie, I was speaking to you and you didn't hear me.
You're trying to put something over me.
Miss Baxter, let me explain. If you've had a partial deafness since birth, you wouldn't know any different. You'd believe that everyone heard as you do. It already seems clear to me you have a limited range of hearing. We'd like to find out exactly how limited.
Let him examine you, Georgie. If you are hard of hearing and can be cured, it could make all the difference in the world to you.
All right. What is this?
Now, listen, just remember, we're going to be very sweet to Evelyn.
Yeah, all right, but it's going to stick in my throat a bit.
I'll say it bloody well. Hey, Evelyn, why don't you sit with us?
Yeah.
Oh, Oh, this slop is enough to turn your stomach before you even eat it.
They seem to be acting fairly friendly towards her.
It's a wonder they haven't torn her apart. Do you think there's anything in this victimization story?
No, just her guilty conscience, I'd say.
You're very game, Randall, eating here. How do you know someone hasn't poisoned your food just like you poisoned the others?
Oh, push off, Sandy.
Maybe it's already too late. You could have already eaten enough to really do the trick, to make you die a slow and painful death, because that's what you deserve after what you
You
did.
put a cork in it, Sandy.
Why should I, after what she put me through? Evelyn, you're not eating. Could it be that I'm right?
Shut up! Shut up!
What do you think you're playing at, Randall?
She threatened me.
Well, Hamilton?
Look, it's nothing. Evelyn's just a bit off the planet at the moment. She's jumping at shadows.
Mrs. Davidson should know about this.
Come on, Randall, you're going to see the governor.
Can I go and change?
Yes, and be quick about it. And the rest of you, get on with your food.
I'd throw that sweater out if I were you. This tucker will eat holes straight through it.
Yeah, and think what it'll do to your guts.
Yeah.
I have to warn Sandy to pull her head in, otherwise she's going to muck everything up.
Yeah, well, that's the funny part, you know. The nicer we are to Evelyn, the more nervous she gets.
Yeah, well, she's got good reason to be. But we don't want that. We want to lull her into a false sense of security.
Well, how are you going to do that? She's as jumpy as a cat in a hot tin roof.
She must have been to have chucked a plate at Sandy like that. Now, Sandy's another one who deserves all she gets.
Well, I reckon she's had enough. She's breaking her neck to get out of here.
Aren't we all? She's the lucky bitch that's going to walk through those gates in a couple of days' time, free as air. Yeah. She got plenty of clothes, hadn't she?
Miss Bennett, can I throw this out, please?
Throw it away. Don't be ridiculous. Wash it.
Oh, no, look, these stains are hopeless. I can't be bothered mucking around with them. It's an old sweater anyway.
All right. Put it in the bin over there.
How'd you get on with Davo?
Did you get into any strife?
He didn't say very much. Mr. Fletcher, do I have to stay out here?
Yes, you do, Randall. Now, you lot behave yourselves.
What have we done, Mr. Fletcher?
Just don't get up to any of your tricks, that's all.
We haven't done nothing.
If Mrs. Davidson won't have me transferred, perhaps you could ask her to have me put into another block.
You've already asked her yourself, Randall. You know what the answer is.
Well, she thinks I'm paranoid. I'm not. You've got to help me. You've got to give me protection.
We'll protect you, Evelyn. You've got nothing to worry about.
What the hell?
Mr. Fletcher, please don't leave me.
I don't know what you're in such a flap about. No one's going to lay a finger on you.
Of course not.
Break it up. Take them inside. Give them both extra duties.
Do you think this was a deliberate diversion?
They don't seem to have done anything.
No.
Then she is partially deaf.
There's no doubt of it. Of course, I'd like to conduct further tests to confirm it.
Does this mean she has been partially deaf since birth?
I think so. She'd need to have an audiogram done to determine her exact hearing loss.
All her life, Georgie's been treated as stupid and came to believe it herself. That's why she hated school. She wasn't really inattentive. It was simply that she couldn't hear what the teacher was talking about.
I see. Is there anything that can be done for her?
Yes, an operation would improve her hearing immediately.
Will you let her go to the hospital and have the tests?
Well, yes, of course. I'll arrange it as soon as possible. But she'll have to be closely guarded at all times.
I don't think you'll have any trouble with her.
I hope not, but I can't take that chance.
Sorry to interrupt, Mrs. Davidson, but the garden storeroom has been broken into and some things have been stolen.
What sort of things?
Well, according to the inventory, some rope and some mineral turpentine. Two of the women got into a fight during the exercise period. The garden shed must have been broken into while our attention was diverted.
Well, there'll have to be a cell search.
All right, I'll get onto it right away. All right, come on, next cell.
Jim, come and have a look in Randall's cell.
Oh, you found something?
You could say that. Look.
This certainly suggests she's being victimized. I'll arrange to have her transferred to Barnhurst. I imagine that will take at least 24 hours, so until then she's not to be left alone with any of the women.
Wouldn't it be easier to put her in solitary?
Well, yes, it would, but I don't want to give them the satisfaction of thinking that their little scheme has worked.
Yes, the women would only see it as punishment for Randall.
Well, it'll only be for a short while, so she can spend most of the time in the recreation room. As long as there's an officer on duty at all times, it should be all right. In the meantime, that only leaves the missing turpentine. I dread to think how that will be used.
Yes, well, we'll keep looking for it.
Oh, Evie, feel like a game of cards? These other buggers are not interested.
Yes, all right.
Well, Evelyn decided to join the living, have you?
What does that remark mean, Smith?
Nothing. Just that she doesn't seem to want to have anything to do with any of us. And all I'm saying is that you don't have to worry about us, Evelyn. We're not going to hurt you.
Of course we won't. We just want to be mates.
Where's it coming from? Can you tell?
I think it's Randy.
Oh, my God.
Is she very badly burned?
Bad enough. She should have been moved more quickly. Obviously, the women's way of getting back at her.
I can't believe they'd do anything this vicious. Could it have been an accident of some sort?
No way. It was quite deliberate. This is how the stolen terps was used.
Mrs. Davidson, I recognize that. I know who it belongs to.
You know, that was smoke we could smell before, I'm sure of it. Do you reckon something's wrong?
No, I don't. Now just go to bed.
What if this place is on fire? If this place was on fire, we couldn't get out and we'd all burn to death.
We're not going to burn to death, Sandy. Now just forget about it.
Judy, that was Evelyn screaming before. Something's wrong.
All right. You see, I'll never get any sleep unless I tell you. We decided to play a little prank on Evelyn. Just something to scare the hell out of her.
What kind of prank?
Nothing much. It's a little bit of a booby trap in her room. She must have got a hell of a fright when it went off.
She sounded more like she was in agony than afraid.
Now, you know Evelyn. She's so jumpy at the moment, the least little thing would send her into hysterics. We're not going to hurt her. We only wanted to frighten her.
I'll be glad when I get out of here. I can't stand it.
You don't think any of us like it, do you? Still, you're one of the lucky ones. The novelty hasn't had time to wear off yet.
Do you believe it? It's well and truly worn off.
All right, come on. Let's just get some sleep, huh? What's going on? Hey, did I ask for room service here?
Right, Hamilton, on your feet.
What do you want with
You're
me?
going to solitary.
And it'll be for a long time.
What have I done?
Hey, what's the charge?
Arson and malicious assault.
You can forget about your release tomorrow, Hamilton. Come on.